They say every house has its own sounds. The groan of old wood, the hum of pipes, the creak of settling walls. Most people get used to it. They stop noticing. But what happens when the sound changes? When it doesn't match anything you've ever heard before? That's what happened to Lucas, a freelance graphic designer who moved into a quiet 2-story house just outside of town. He wanted peace, space, a fresh start. What he got was something else entirely. It began the first week after he moved in. Every night around 2:47 a.m., he'd wake up to a soft thump, always from the same place, the basement. At first, he brushed it off. Old house noises, he muttered, half asleep, turning over. But the sound came back, night after night, and it started changing, from a thump to a soft dragging, like something heavy being pulled across concrete. Sometimes it stopped after a few seconds. Sometimes it went on for minutes. Lucas tried to ignore it, until one night, the dragging stopped. And what followed was a knock, not on his bedroom door, not on the front door, but from underneath the floorboards. He froze. That sound? It wasn't old pipes. It wasn't a house settling. It was deliberate, curious, but cautious. Lucas grabbed a flashlight and went downstairs. The basement door was closed. As usual, he opened it slowly. It creaked like a horror and shone the light down the steps. Nothing. Just the cement floor, some stacked boxers, a water heater. He flipped the basement switch. Lights flickered on. Still empty. Still quiet. Maybe I imagined it, he said aloud. But as he turned to leave, the bulb above him buzzed. Then popped. The basement went dark. And in that silence, he heard it again. Dragging. But now, closer. He bolted upstairs and slammed the door. The next morning, he checked. Again. Nothing. No sign of rodents. No loose boxers. No tracks on the floor. But that night, the noise came back. And this time, he recorded it, just his phone placed at the top of the stairs. In the morning, he played it back. At exactly 2:47 a.m. the audio picked up faint movement. Then the dragging. Then, whispering, words too garbled to understand. But one thing was clear. It was a voice. Lucas showed it to a friend, Mia, who worked with audio restoration. She cleaned up the file, adjusted the levels, and isolated the whisper. What she found made her go pale. The voice was saying, "Don't open the door. He's listening." Lucas didn't know what to think. Was it a prank? A sick joke left behind by the previous owner? He looked through old property records, but the history of the house was clean. No crimes, no deaths, just a string of short-term owners. Too short, most stayed less than a year. That night, he didn't sleep. He sat by the basement door, waiting. At 2:47, right on schedule, the dragging began. Slow, deliberate. He gripped the doorknob hand, trembling. The sound stopped. Silence. Then came a knock. Right on the other side, he leaned closer, pressing his ear to the door. And then, 3 words, whispered so close, it felt like breath on his skin. "I see you." Lucas left the house that night, moved in with a cousin across town. He hasn't been back since. But here's the thing. The sounds didn't stop. Now they come through his phone, his laptop, even the voice assistant in his kitchen, always at 2:47. Always that dragging. Always followed by a knock. Some people say he's paranoid, that the stress finally got to him. But others believe the basement isn't part of the house. Not really. That something old lives beneath the foundation. And once you hear it, it knows you. So if you ever hear a noise from below your feet, in the dead of night, don't check, don't listen. And whatever you do, don't open the door. If this story made your skin crawl, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Lunacy. And tell us, have you ever heard a sound that had no explanation? Maybe it wasn't the house. Maybe it was something waiting below.